Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new then hi, my name is Carly. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. It is another day of pure heat in the UK, so I am melting as I'm filming this, and I think we are due a bit of a storm actually, so we might have a bit of a thunderstorm later on, which I kind of like. You know when it's nice, isn't it, if you've not got plans, which I don't this evening, so a little thunderstorm I'm not mad about. But we need to talk about the fact that it's already June. It's not even the beginning of June anymore. It's gone past that now, hasn't it? We are halfway through the year. How has that happened? Where has the time gone? Just blinked, half the year's gone. That's how it feels. And I really wanted to make a video like this because if you're feeling like you haven't achieved what you want to achieve, you haven't done half the things that you want to do this year, then you are not alone. This time of year, this point in the year can feel really weird because it's not like a fresh start like January is, or September, which can feel like a bit of a fresh start as well. It's a bit of a messy in the middle time. I feel like this point in the year is when you're tired, your motivation dips, and suddenly all those goals and resolutions that we've all made feel irrelevant maybe, or just completely unreachable, or you might be in full-on survival mode at the moment in life. So in today's video we are going to have a big old reset. We are going to reflect on things that have been working, because there's always some things that have been working for you even if it doesn't feel like they have. We are going to let go of things that are no longer serving us, and we are going to create a simple doable plan for the next 6 months that's not going to make you want to throw your planner in the bin. So whether you've had a tough start to the year, whether you just feel like you've lost your spark, this is going to be your soft reset. And hopefully by the end of this video you will feel calmer, clearer, and way more in control of where you're heading without needing to change your whole personality overnight. So go grab yourself a nice drink, maybe a notepad as well if you feel like taking any notes, and let's reset the next 6 months together. And if you're watching this thinking, I have just wasted half a year of my life, you haven't at all. You're not behind, you're not late, you're not lazy, you've just been living. And maybe things haven't gone to plan, maybe you've dropped some of the good habits that you started out with. Maybe life has gone in a completely different direction than you thought it was going to this year. And yeah, maybe you just haven't kept up with the version of the life that you thought you were going to be living. That's fine. Plans change, energy dips, life throws many a curveball, doesn't it? Life rarely runs in a straight line. So before you try to reset anything, then we just need to drop the guilt. It's not useful. It just makes you feel worse about something that doesn't even define your progress. Instead, we're going to ask ourselves what's actually been working for me, even if it's just small. So maybe it's been walking most mornings, not every day, but just enough to clear your head. Maybe that's really been helping. Maybe you've noticed that going to bed before a certain time in the evenings has made a difference. Maybe you've been more consistent with drinking water, which might sound really small, but if it's, you know, improved your energy levels, then that is something that's obviously been working for you, and that's, you know, worth making a note of. Or maybe you've been better at saying no to things and setting some clear boundaries. So yeah, start taking note of some of the things that have been working for you, no matter how small they are. Also, we need to have a look at things that have been draining us. So maybe scrolling on your phone before bed, which you know doesn't make you feel good, but you still do it out of habit. I think a lot of us are guilty of this. Maybe it's putting too much pressure on yourself, putting too much on your to-do list, trying to stay in constant productivity mode even when you know you need to rest, or hanging on to routines that just don't work anymore but they used to work, so you still are in that habit. So yeah, we're getting to grips with things that are working, things that are not working, and then things that we want to carry with us for the rest of the year, and what can we leave behind. So maybe you want to keep your slow mornings, even if it's just a short amount of time in the mornings, to have a bit of time to yourself. You know that that's something that is important to you, something that makes you feel good, that's coming with us. Maybe you want to leave behind some of the pressure that you put on yourself. It's about doing what makes sense to you right now and what will be good for you right now, not 6 months ago. Now we've dropped the guilt, we now need to deal with the mental clutter. Because half of the reason that we feel overwhelmed is because we've all got a million tabs open in our brain all at once and absolutely no idea where to start. That's how I feel 99% of the time. So the first thing that I am going to recommend, and it's not revolutionary, but it's so helpful, is to do a brain dump. Not a to-do list, not a perfectly organised action plan. We just need to get everything that's going on up here out of our brain. So just write down everything that's circulating around your head, all of it. The overdue appointments, the half-finished projects, the random tasks you keep meaning to do, the annoying life admin, all of that stuff that's just weighing on you quietly. Get it all on a piece of paper. And it doesn't need to be neat, it doesn't need to be anything, you know, it's just got to be out, because it is literally the process of getting it out your head and onto something else. Because when all of this stuff is floating around in your brain, it feels so much bigger than it actually is. And when you get it all out on paper and look at it, you might realise that it's not actually as overwhelming and deep as you think. It's just disorganised. And I find that really, really helpful, because like I say, my brain feels like a big ball of wires sometimes is how I would describe it, like all tangled up. So getting all that out, getting it all in front of me, all those wires, and going, right, okay, let's just actually look at what is going on up there and what we can easily start processing. And then once it's all there in front of you, you can really see and realise what's taking up the most space, what needs organising, what's unfinished, half-started. And even when you've got it all out on paper, it doesn't need organising there and then and sorting there and then. Just look at it and figure out what really matters the most there, what's urgent, what's background noise, what is just sitting there making you feel bad even though there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. But you don't need to be ultra organised with it all, but it's just good to have that feeling that your brain isn't constantly glitching. Get it all out on paper. Okay, so now we've let go of the guilt, we've done a brain dump. Next, we are going to talk about my favourite subject, romanticizing the reset, but realistically. And what I mean by romanticizing the reset, it is just about finding small ways to make the everyday feel nicer and better, and just softening things around the edges a little bit. That's what I feel like romanticizing does. It's just about shifting how you move through the day, just so you're not running on autopilot all the time. And this is especially important when you're in a little bit of a rut, because when life feels chaotic or uninspiring, then it is amazing what like a tiny shift in your routine, in your environment can actually make, and just genuinely make you feel more in control and more like yourself again. So here's what romanticizing the reset actually looks like in real life. It is going to be things like resetting your space. Start by choosing one area just to refresh. Not the whole house, not a full deep clean, just one small area that you use every day. So that could be clearing off your bedside table or your countertops in your kitchen, decluttering them. Maybe your car needs a good decluttering. Go through your car, maybe your handbag is full of receipts and chaos, and actually that does remind me I do need to go through mine. Or maybe you've got like a junk chair where just everything gets thrown. Go through one small space at a time. Change your bedding, open the windows, put some music on. It's not about making your whole house like a whole Instagram worthy space, it's just about making it feel a nicer space for you to be in. But yeah, just one small space at a time. But not only resetting your personal space, it is also really important, or can be really beneficial, to reset your digital space. So deleting screenshots that you don't need. I take screenshots. I take screenshots every day of something. There's so many screenshots. So deleting screenshots you don't need. Removing apps that you don't use or that, you know, a waste of space on your phone. Clear out your notes. Get a new lock screen on your phone with something that's really going to inspire you, motivate you, make you feel good. Mute notifications and emails and things that just do not serve you, because we spend so much time on our phones that this should also be a calm space too. So I think a digital reset is really beneficial. We're also, in our romanticizing the reset, we're going to add one small ritual that feels grounding. So you don't need like a whole new morning routine or a nighttime routine. Just stick to one simple thing that you know that you'll stick to. So that could be as simple as making yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee that you sit and enjoy each day without multitasking and doing a million other things. It could be reading a chapter of a book every day. It could be stepping outside for 5 minutes in the morning without your phone. It could be stretching for 2 minutes in the morning, or journaling, writing a gratitude list. Maybe prep your outfit for the next day or your breakfast, doing that the night before. Or maybe putting your phone in another room before you go to bed, even if you just do that like once or twice a week. Tiny little things. As well as these other resets, it is so important to reset your expectations. This might be the most important part, because a lot of pressure that we feel doesn't actually come from the task itself or the goal itself. It comes from the unrealistic expectations around it. The pressure that we put on ourselves to get back on track quickly or perfectly, or just like in the way that looks good from the outside. We put far too much pressure on ourselves. So it is very important to just ask yourself, or write these down, what do I actually need right now, not what do I think I should need. Okay, so now we've cleared a bit of space mentally and physically. Now this is the part where we stop dragging old priorities into the second half of the year. This is your chance to reflect and to be honest about what still fits and what doesn't. So what this actually means is that we're gonna stop doing things just because we wrote them down in January, or stop pressuring yourself to get back to a version of life that doesn't actually really fit with you anymore. So instead of writing a new goal list, let's start asking ourselves, what do I want to carry with me into the second half of the year? Because it's something that genuinely supports me and it's something that I genuinely want. What still aligns with who I am now? What have I outgrown? Maybe at the start of the year you set a financial goal that no longer actually fits your circumstances. You can release it and make space for something that does fit. Maybe you started a wellness routine that felt more like a punishment. I've definitely started a few of them in my time. You don't have to keep doing it just because it looks good on paper. It's okay to change your mind and think, actually, this does not work for me. Or maybe there's a mindset that you've been holding onto, like always being productive. That can be really exhausting. So if that doesn't fit, you can let that go too. So yeah, this is the part where you take a proper pause and actually think about what is working for you. Maybe you try to commit to working out 4 times a week and it's just not happening, or it's just not enjoyable to you, but maybe walking every day is. Maybe you committed yourself to having a really productive morning routine and that's a little bit too much, or not really working out, but maybe having a slow morning coffee and making your bed, maybe that is working for you. Maybe you found that you said yes to way too many things in the first half of the year and you want to go into the second half of the year with stronger boundaries and saying no to more things and being a little bit more selfish. The point here is not to critique yourself, it is just to be honest, to admit what isn't working, to be positive about the things that are working, and just to release the pressure to keep doing things that don't serve you anymore. Because it's okay to change your mind, and things change all the time, don't they? Circumstances change. So this halfway mid-year point is a really good time to just reevaluate what you want, what works, what lights you up. And you're allowed to change your plan. It's not failure, it's growth. So now that you've cleared out everything that doesn't belong in the next season, it's time to get grounded on what does. You don't need a detailed 6-month plan either. Just one word, a theme. We love a theme, a direction, something to guide you of how you want the rest of the year to go and feel. Not so much what you want to achieve, but how you want to live. And this is really, really helpful actually, because it gives you a reference point when life gets noisy, and it will, because it always does. Your word becomes a quiet reminder of what you're moving forwards towards. It makes decisions easier, it brings you back to your priorities. So maybe the first half of your year has been really chaotic. Maybe your word would be calm. You want the second half of the year to be calm. So fewer commitments, quieter mornings, all that kind of thing. Or if maybe you feel like you've been holding back for the first 6 months of this year, then maybe your word might be confidence. Trusting your voice, your ideas. Or maybe you are constantly feeling burnt out. Maybe your word could be sustainability. Concentrating on finding habits that don't drain you. Or maybe life has felt a little bit dull and boring for the first 6 months. Maybe your word could be joy and saying yes to things that make you feel like you again. And I'll put up some examples of words that you might want to use as well, but really just ask yourself, what do I want more of in life? What am I missing? What kind of person do I want to be throughout the rest of the year? Yeah, like I say, this isn't so much about goals, this is about how we want to feel for the next 6 months. Okay, next we're going to talk about setting 3 core intentions. One for your well-being, one for your future, and one for your joy. Because let's be honest, a big list of goals can look really impressive, but it rarely works, does it? Especially when life is already full and crazy. You can have as many goals on that list as you want, but if there's no space for them, then it's just not going to work. So instead of trying to fix everything all at once, I want you to focus on 3 things for the second half of the year. No resolutions, just 3 intentions. One for your well-being, one for your future, and one for your joy. So let's firstly talk about well-being. How do you want to feel in your body and mind? This is not about forcing yourself to hit the gym 5 times a week or drink celery juice. It's about finding and asking yourself what small habits make you genuinely feel better. So some examples of this is protecting your sleep, making sure that you're getting enough sleep every night, limiting screen times, drinking more water, and eating food that actually nourishes you and fuels you, giving yourself some space to rest without feeling guilty about it, or doing some sort of physical activity that doesn't feel like a punishment. All these little things are perfect examples of intentions that you can set to improve your well-being. And then when it comes to future, ask yourself, what is something that you want to move forward with? What is something that will support the version of yourself that you want to be or are becoming? Maybe it's finally finishing the project or the course that you've started. Maybe it's updating your CV. Maybe it's getting your finances in order, even if that's just tracking your spending and your internet banking a little bit better. Maybe it's creating better boundaries at work, or just building something really slowly that you've been really wanting to start. And then really importantly, joy. This really matters, especially if you have spent this first half of the year either in survival mode, you focused on other people more than yourself, or just trying to get through each day. You are allowed, and you absolutely should, be prioritising joy in your life. And that's obviously a really fun one as well. So maybe you want to prioritise some more solo dates, even if that's just a half-an-hour walk with your coffee. Maybe it's reading a book, maybe it's going to the cinema, or maybe it's buying the nice version of something because it's going to make your day that little bit easier. And always remember that with anything, if it doesn't support who you're becoming, it's not worth your energy. So yeah, no more than 3. No guilt, just clarity on those 3 things. Next, we're going to reset your daily routines in a way that you'll actually stick to. Let's just talk about routines for a minute. I absolutely love a routine, but you don't need to reinvent your whole day or become an early morning person overnight. You just need to have a look at the shape of your day and ask yourself, what would make this feel 10% better? That is it. This is where you take all those intentions you just set for your well-being, your future, and your joy, and you give them a place to live. Because without structure, even the best intentions fade. So they need a little place in your everyday life. So start with one part of your day, your morning routine. Ask yourself, what do you need to do to start the day feeling calm and grounded and not rushed? Maybe that would be starting it by putting your phone across the room so that you get up when your alarm goes off, or getting an actual alarm clock instead of using your phone so that you're not tempted to scroll on your phone as soon as you open your eyes. Maybe it's having a glass of water before you have your coffee, getting outside for 5 minutes of fresh air before you start your day. And then with your evening, ask yourself, what's going to help you unwind? What's currently making your evenings harder than they need to be? It can be really helpful to maybe set a wind down time. Even if you ignore it half the time, it still helps. Doing a quick 5 to 10 minute tidy up, having that as part of your evening routine really helps to just wake up to a calmer space in the morning. Maybe having no screens an hour before bed, or at least switching off your notifications or dimming the light on your phone. Just little things. And as well as these little things in your morning and evening routines, just finding some parts of the day where you can build a little bit of softness as well. Maybe just having an hour, like a no commitment hour, one block of time where you don't have to be productive. You can do whatever you want in that time. Using your lunch break to do something for you and not to catch up on other tasks. The most important thing to do is to not set routines that require a version of you that doesn't exist yet, because it's unrealistic and you won't be able to stick to it. Start with the person that you are now, what you can handle, and then build from there. So now we've got some clarity, we've got some daily structure, we've set some intentions, let's zoom out a little bit. This next bit is all about creating a soft monthly plan without feeling overwhelmed. This is just about setting a very light structure, not planning every detail over the next 6 months. A soft monthly plan is a loose way to focus your energy, one gentle theme or one gentle goal at a time. And it can be personal, it can be practical, or it could be an emotional goal. Whatever supports where you're at that moment in time. So I will give you an example of my 6 months plan, the theme of each month. So July for me is all about resetting habits, reflecting on everything that I've just talked about, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. August will be focused on rest and fun because that is when the boys will be off school. It'll be the summer holidays, so maybe you've got like a holiday planned or something. September will be all about routine and structure because that is when the boys are back at school. Dylan will be starting secondary school, and that's just generally how Septembers go. October, I will be focusing on a couple of things I've been putting off and really dedicating my time to them. November, all about saving all of those very expensive end of year purchases. And then December will be all about gratitude. Obviously, I'm obsessed with Christmas and just all the lovely things that happen over the Christmas period. And yeah, not just for the holidays, but gratitude just for the year that's just gone. It's just a really good time to reflect on everything. See, that is my sort of loose plan for the next 6 months and the little themes for each of the months. And you don't need to stick to it at all, but it is a great little gentle framework for the next 6 months that can really help you to keep moving forward with intention. If you've made it this far, well done. Just remember, you do not need to change everything all at once. You don't need to fix the year. You just need to move forward with a little bit more clarity, a little bit more intention. Some months will still be messy. Some days you'll forget the word that you chose, but it doesn't undo the reset. You can always come back to it. This is your life and you get to shape it slowly. So yeah, there we go. I really hope that you found that helpful. If you did, please do leave a comment down below. I'd absolutely love to hear from you, and also give it a big thumbs up if you did find it helpful and you enjoyed it. I would love for you to come follow me on Instagram as well, which is CarlyElizabeth_X, and TikTok is CarlyElizabeth_XX. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on here as well, because it just makes my absolute day. Thank you again. Thank you so much for watching, and I would absolutely love to see you again for my next one. Take care. Bye.